So guys, I'm not sure if you saw this, but Ben Shapiro was getting absolutely cooked the other day for an incredibly privileged take on retirement. It's the classic Republicanism about how he wants you to work until your very last breath. He wants you to be walking around Target with the oxygen tank with no prospects of retiring because retirement is apparently evil and of Satan. Let's take a look at what he has to say. Yeah, he did a whole segment on basically the big State of the Union and a bunch of problems with spending. I just wanted to take a little look at what was going on here and some of the backlash that he got because it was pretty funny.
So, for example, the other day, Donald Trump was asked about entitlements. Now, one of the things that Donald Trump has done is for political reasons, he has suggested over the course of his career in presidential politics that he will not touch entitlements. He won't touch Medicare, he won't touch Medicaid, he won't touch Social Security, and all the rest. And I've pointed out that's fiscally unsustainable. Now, on a political level, it's smart because the truth is Americans like status quo, and every major economy has effectively run directly into austerity measures and or riots at a certain point with regard to this. So it's all kick the can down the road. From political level, if you're a politician, you want to kick the can down the road on Social Security and Medicare. Anybody who attempts to change the status quo on Social Security and Medicare, say George W. Bush in 2005, after he won re-election, he said he wanted to fix Social Security by privatizing it. Privatizing in that sense meant the federal government would still make you pay a Social Security tax, but instead of that going into a government quote-unquote lockbox, or instead of that money simply being paid out the back door, that would instead go into a privately held savings account. That would accrue interest, and that would actually go into the stock market, for example. It made a lot of sense, but everybody fussed about it, and Democrats demagogued it, so it went to death. So Donald Trump has avoided that. Well, yesterday...
Yeah, so here's the thing. Something really interesting you got to check out here is his use of wordage, because he's a trained political actor, okay? So he's like changing the status quo. Just people like things how they are, and when you try and change things to not what they are, people really get mad. Is that what people are getting mad about? Things, they like things as they are and they hate it when things aren't as they are? Or is it more like they like the idea of getting the money that they spent that was taken from them in taxes to be able to go to them when they want to retire so they can enjoy life after working a long career? And Republicans want to take that from them or make that less viable or make it a profit driven or make your retirement, like the end of your life, another way for another company to make money that will only lead to you being worse off on the other end or anything along those lines, right? Or is that the issue, Ben? Because you can say, oh, changing the status quo. I mean, we can change the status quo for Ben. Like he lives in a house now. We could just take away his house and make him homeless. I mean, that's changing the status quo. Is that better? I mean, in some ways, but I don't think he would. I don't think him and his 17 children would enjoy being poor on the street, but that's changing the status quo. Like, shut up, bro. Just say what you mean. You want to privatize Social Security. You want to take away Social Security. You want to get rid of Social Security. You want to make people work until they die. Like, that's what you want to do. Just say that instead of trying to make people think that, oh, we're just switching things up a little. We're just doing a little switch up, just a tiny one as a taste.
Today, Donald Trump was on CNBC. And because Donald Trump is a people pleaser, he was asked by a CNBC host about entitlement programs. And he sort of said he would be open to the possibility of changes to the entitlement programs. And Joe Biden leapt on that with both feet.
Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. So I don't, necessarily agree with the statement.
He actually said nothing. Wait, can I listen to that again? I believe he literally said nothing.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. So I don't, necessarily agree with the statement.
What is that? Yeah. Donald Trump, is there something we can finally do to fix entitlement? I mean, the debt and the GDP are so crazy. Please, Donald Trump, do something. Ah, yes, I believe there's many things that we can do, things that can be done, and things that could happen. Those things are many things. There are several things. There's tremendous things that could be done, tremendous things that aren't being done, and tremendous things that are bad. And things that are good would probably be better. So I'm not sure if I really agree with the statement. What? Yes, no, maybe all or none of the above. He was cooking. Oh, my bad. He said cut. Maybe we could cut. Maybe we could add, maybe we could do nothing at all. But there's like bad management. There's management that's bad. It's also, could possibly be good. There are better things that could happen. Tremendously bad things are happening and tremendously good things could be happening instead, you see. Can you imagine if that was done in if that was said in an actual stadium full of people, that there would be people giving him a standing ovation for saying that? It's just so wild to me.
Okay, so that's really not a lot of daylight in terms of, he's going to make wholesale changes to Social Security or something. It's enough for Biden to try and press him on it.
Of course.
So according to Politico,
he said the word cut.
After committing during his State of the Union address to stop anyone in Congress who tries to raise the retirement age for Social Security benefits, Biden's budget instead calls for raising taxes on high earners to keep Social Security and Medicare from hitting insolvency within the next decade. Now, again, realistically speaking, that's not going to save anybody. The population is aging way too fast for that. There are not enough high-income taxpayers even to pay for the kinds of bills that Joe Biden wants to pay for here. And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States.
Ooh, here it is. Also, immigration, Ben. We get more people into the country and get them to be tax-paying citizens and get them to do and then get them to work. That's definitely something that you could do. Absolutely, you can do that and spend more on making sure that people don't have to dip into their entitlement programs as bad by helping make sure that people will be well off by the time they get to be older. Right now, one of the largest growing poor demographics right now are boomers and really old people, because there's a lot of people who don't have enough money to really get by. When you get older, there's a lot of people who don't have kids, or maybe their kids died, or maybe they don't have enough money to help them either because they're struggling too, right? There's a lot of problems with older people having trouble with their finances. So making sure they don't have to lean on that bad would probably be also be better. Also spending to make sure that people won't be poor and to help them achieve monetary goals. That would be better too. And raising the entire retirement age, 65 is already so old, dude. You work until you're 65? 65. Sheesh. You're not even, like, by the time you're that old, a lot of times you don't really, you can't really do as much cool things anymore. Like the prime age of your life is gone. 65 is already crazy high.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years.
Okay, but who cares? The retirement age and also you wanting to work is just completely different. Yeah, he wanted to become president. Okay, like if some older person wants to be a Walmart greeter, then, Godspeed. Does he think the retirement age means that the government stops you from working? Like you're not allowed to work anymore? Like it's illegal to work? Well, who cares? Who cares?
And he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But
holy shit. What? They lose their purpose. If your whole purpose in life is your job, that's probably why you were dying. That's why you were dying. Your job was probably what was killing you. Your job was what probably led you to not having too many like real world connections. Your job was what probably led you to not having as much money. Like they weren't paying you that well. The fact that you had to work that long and not having the possibility of retiring earlier. That's probably what did it. Your job is probably what gave you those health problems that killed you 5 years later. Dude, his job is literally sitting there yapping, and he's as a multi-millionaire, and he's going to tell you that you deserve to work until you die. Okay, he could retire right now. He could have retired 10 years ago and never have to work again a day in his life. Also, how does he know so many dead people? He talks to a lot of Biden voters. Hey! Oh, hey, got him. They stole the election, dog. They steal every election. Every single one.
Put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80.
Yeah. Well, listen, that retirement age was a scam, just like it is today. Still a scam, 100%. That was like, yeah, you can die if you can retire if you die, dumbass. Oh, you can rest in your coffin, dumbass. Yeah, that's what that retirement age was supposed to say. And yes, that's how the retirement age still works today. You should absolutely be able to retire earlier. 100%. You should be able to live like the later third of your life, sometimes even half of your life, with being able to have money saved up to do something else with your life. You can contribute to the economy in other ways too. Most people even still do want to work.
Totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk. That is.
You work the prime of your life. The one life that you live on this God-given earth, okay? You work for 45 years. And you just hope that you can take care of yourself and live a normal life for the last 20, and that's crazy to him? Wanting to live a life where you get to spend time with your friends and family, do things that you weren't able to do before, have time to just sit and wait without having to worry about making money for somebody else for 20 years as an old person that's crazy. That's crazy talk. And we're not even just talking about like entitlements. Like, it's not like we want people's money to just disappear by the time that they're that old and then not have any money left. And the only money they have in is money coming from the government they paid into Social Security and other entitlement programs. What we want is for people to have enough money saved up to do those things as well. And on top of it, as an insurance to get that back, those entitlement programs as well. I'm not working from 8 to 80. I didn't know this wasn't Canada. That's crazy. That's crazy. As the multimillionaire who has nary a problem in the world, you deserve to work until you die.
Is not fiscally sustainable.
It can be.
The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired. And they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire.
Why?
By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 65 were in 1940. It's not true at all.
That's true. They're usually in worse shape. Yeah, older people are usually in worse shape these days. 100%. Yeah. Also, send your parents some money. Why are your parents like? Do your parents want to retire? I'm telling you, my parents retired. My parents retired a long time ago. I think my parents retired when I was like 18. And maybe even before that. I think my parents retired when I was like 17 or something. My parents retired real early. And you know what? I've never seen them happier. I've never seen them happier. I'm going to be honest with you. They're able to retire pretty early, and they live a life where they can and they live a life where they can go places, they can see family.
65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States. Again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81.
No, dude, guys, the gaslighting is crazy. Dude, 65 isn't even old, dude. 65 isn't old. What are you talking about? What do you mean it's not old? 65 is the new 20. No, it's not. Who are you gaslighting? Who are you talking to? 65 is old. You are pretty old. Yes, 100%. You're on the later half of your life. You are old. You're old. It's okay. It's okay. My mom is 64. She works manual labor her whole life, and she has to have an implant that shocks her spine so she doesn't feel pain. Dude, it's not old. They're not old. They're not old. I promise you they're not old. This is just wild. The cope is insane. This is the code to get normal people to think that it's okay to work until the day that you die, and that's just how your life should be, is from a multi-millionaire who will never who doesn't work. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He doesn't work. He doesn't work. He don't. He does not. He does not. He has people make his script for him. He reads it, and he talks at colleges sometimes, dog. You don't. What are you talking about? You work nothing like a normal person. He actually just shows up. Okay. Popular YouTuber wants to tell normal people that they should work until they die. All right.
I fail to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80 plus is telling you that we should have a retirement age of 65. It makes no sense.
Dude, they don't work either. They don't work either. I'm going to be honest. They also don't work. Being a congressperson, you don't work. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, you don't work. Just be honest. You're a congressman. You don't work. You don't do anything. Most 90% of Congress people don't do anything. This isn't the own you think it is. They don't do anything. They literally show up. They show up. Listen, dude. They come into work. They come into their respective house chamber. Okay. They show up. Their party leader tells them what to vote for. They go yay or nay, and they go home. That's not working. Very few politicians actually work. You're crazy to me. That's why they're able to do this until they're 85, because they don't do anything. They don't do anything. I don't think you should still be a roofer if you're 65. I don't. I don't think you should be pushing pallets around in Kroger if you're 65. I don't. I really don't. I don't think that you should be like, you should still be bending down, picking vegetables. I don't think you should have your hands above your head, putting sprockets in the cofoible on the bottom of cars on the assembly line. I don't think you should be doing any of that when you're 65. I think you should be spending time with your friends and family and your kids when you're 65. That's what I think you should do. No, Ben, you should not work until you die like this. No. Working construction at 70. No. Go home. Go home to your wife and kids. Why are you here, dog? You're so old. Go home to your wife and kids, man. What are you even saying? Buddy was cooked on this one. I'm going to be honest with you. They got his ass. So this is the Media Matters post. And on it, coming from a guy who's never worked an honest day in his entire life, Cook, Ben Shapiro's net worth is $50 million. He will never need to retire. The rest of us middle-class common folk will actually need to collect Social Security at retirement. Speaking to which, millionaires and billionaires are allowed to collect Social Security. I'm telling you, Ben does not deserve Social Security. He shouldn't get Social Security. Millionaires and billionaires, this is actually a great point. Millionaires and billionaires shouldn't be able to get Social Security. They don't need it. You don't need Social Security. You should continue paying. You should continue to be taxed while after you retire to help make the economy better. If you would care so much about the economy so much. All right. Coming from a guy who just turned 40 and who doesn't know what a real job is. Let him talk to me. Yeah, this is the dude who bought a single piece of 2x4 and put it in a plastic bag at Home Depot to help support conservative businesses, dude. You've never had to go to a home improvement store in your life. You never had to fix anything in your life. This is the man with the softest hands in the world. They're buttery smooth. I don't think he even knows what a callus is. His example of a hard day of work is that his throat is sore. He needs to take a sip of water and tea after work because he was spending all day yapping about how poor people deserve to be poor. That's his example of a hard day at work, man. What are you talking about? Now they hate retirement. What a clown show. Don't worry, Ben. I plan on roofing till I die of old age on the job site. Hey, dude, it'd be like you know what? I see it. This is why Ben didn't support Trump's trade war in China, because he respects the Chinese work ethic. Okay, he heard that the slaves that died while making the Great Wall of China were just buried inside of the tower to help for the foundation. He was like, Cook, yes, this is a real economy. They used to be a real country. They could just leave me on the roof and let the vultures clean up my remains. Yeah, it'd be very ecological, I would say. How's that possible to be this wrong on so many things? Listen, he's completely disconnected from a normal person. That's what money does to you. That's what this much money does for you. Every time I hear him speak, I'm reminded why I unfollowed him. Cook. Lecturing guy. And this is a Trump supporter. Wait, this is the guy who stole the podium. Wait, this is the guy that stole the podium from January 6th. Wait, a January 6er is here. Like, I hate that. January 6er is like, I'm so glad I unfollowed that Ben Shapiro guy. He's crazy. Okay. It's actually him. It's genuinely him. That's so wild. It's so crazy seeing January 6ers who turned committing a crime and trying to overthrow the government for Donald Trump into a personality. It's the same with the QAnon shaman guy. That guy is on Twitter too these days, and now that guy's on Twitter too these days as like, and that's his persona, that's his personality now, being a guy who was at January 6th. Someone replay from him when he hits 65, please. Says the guy that does zero manual labor. What are you talking about? He does manual labor every single day. Do you know how much work it takes to lift those massive eyebrows? I mean, come on. I mean, you know how much work it is how much neck strength he needs to be able to carry around such a big brain? He is the cool kid's philosopher after all. Remember, that's what people call him. When Ben really hit the scene, you know, when he was really popping off, that he's the cool kid's philosopher. Remember that. Republicans would have seniors gambling their retirement income on Wall Street, underfunded K-12 schools, a government dedicated to corporate interests, and for those without healthcare, a free tattoo on the chest that reads "Do not resuscitate." Yeah, welcome to Republican America. After spending your retirement on a "Do not resuscitate" tattoo. This is really America, huh? Some people are even trying to come out to support him. Ben is 100% correct. You need to die at work. Please die at work. Please die at work. America should have a strong enough economy and educated enough citizenry that it would allow people to comfortably retire in an old age whenever they so choose. But guys who pontificate behind a microphone for a couple hours a day for a living might want to do some labor before commenting on other people's literal work. Sorry, on other people literally working themselves to death. Yeah, and the one thing is like the 9-to-5 culture that we have right now is also working yourself to death too. It's proven to be bad for your life, proven to be bad for your health and health outcomes. And somebody was like, D-Show and Ben Shapiro sitting behind microphones telling manual laborers they need to work until they drop dead. It's so asinine and out of touch. And Ben actually responded to this one. He said, I'm arguing that we should stop the perverse program of the government stealing your money and giving it to someone else, then stealing someone else's money and giving it to you. You should keep your own money. That's not what you're saying. You're saying you should work until you die. You literally said work until you die. What are you saying? Just take the L, dog. Who's stealing money and it's called tax stealing money and giving it to someone else. What do you mean? Whoops, was I muted? Sorry, the green frog anti-Semite showed up in Ben Shapiro's comment section. You just want us to work like slaves for Israel. Die for... Okay. All right then. Wake up. You work like 1 week as a lawyer in a real job before you quit to become a conservative influencer. You're currently alive. You've been paying into Social Security your entire adult life. You're collecting your own money. While even Lauren Chen is here, Social Security is not taxpayers paying you to retire. It's you collecting money that you have been paying into the system your entire life. Or at least that's how the system's supposed to function. Though in practice, it's then they go with the Ponzi scheme meme, right? Yeah, Ben, speak real fast or why my tax money should go to defend Israel, but not help my parents retire. Sheesh. Literally off, talk to me in 25 years. I want to see. I want to scroll a little bit. Then once you work until you die, he made millions of dollars arguing for this. Thank you, House on Pecker. Some black guy tuned in. Ben really thinks people should work themselves to death. He also has no idea how Social Security works. Or some ordinary gamers hit up. You're literally collecting the money you put in, dumbass. I personally wouldn't retire since I enjoy working. But when you get to old age, it's time to relax and spend your remaining years with your family. Ben Shapiro, when your 90-year-old grandpa asks if he could take a day off.
Destroy him, Ben. Destroy him.
He doesn't get a day off. He doesn't get a day off at the end. He doesn't get a day off. Taxpayers should not pay you to retire. You mean yourself? Yeah, like the way he's like misconstruing this is so weird. But I'm glad he got cooked. He's just getting cooked left and right because he deserves it. I mean, his job is reacting to woke TikToks. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. Stop being stupid. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.